Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I know it's been a minute since you've seen my face again. I know it's been a while. I've just been so busy on the outside, getting things done. I haven't had really the time to sit down and, do a full face and, talk and give commentary. So I'm just really glad to be back here. Today I will be doing a get ready with me, and I will be talking about some topics, involving Umar Johnson, Megan Thee Stallion, Nicki Minaj, the coronavirus, all these different topics. And, I hope you guys can sit around and stick around and tune in to what I have to say. So thank you so much for tuning into this video. And now let's get into this. So I did my brows off camera, and now I'm going to go in with my Juvia's Place Masquerade palette, and I'm going to go into these three colors right here. So I actually want to talk a little bit about Umar Johnson for a second. I was really trying not to make my page solely about Umar Johnson or all the time about Umar Johnson, but man, this guy just seriously does not stop. It's crazy. Every live video, every commentary featuring his live videos that I see, it's of him going off, it's of him in public, it's of him, in his car. And you know what? It's sad to say this, but man, look how the mighty have fallen. His story is a case of how the mighty have fallen. Okay, you notice the timeline, or at least from my perspective, you notice the timeline from Umar Johnson. He was doing his lectures, he was in buildings or churches, he was in actual, professional enough settings to do lectures. And now he's talking about all this stuff going down when nothing's really going down. He keeps talking about this school that I don't believe will ever be built. And he's doing live videos in his car. He never used to do this many live videos every single day. And now every time, almost every other day or almost every day, you see him doing a live video in his car, outside of that abandoned school building, in parks. So I really do believe that this man is homeless. Allegedly he's on drugs, but I believe he is homeless. It's like a lot of signs are pointing to yes, just like a lot of signs were pointing to yes, that he was, scamming money for this supposed school. A lot of signs seem to be pointing to yes, that this man is homeless. So I first started noticing this issue, when he was just constantly doing live videos in his car. And, this is how I know Umar is getting desperate. This is definitely how you notice Umar is getting desperate. Every minute, this was even happened before the car live videos. Every minute he would be talking about some new plan that would be happening. First it was, okay, we have the school, but then it's like, I plan on opening a non-alcoholic vegan sports bar, calling out what type of, food item supposedly would be on this supposed menu for this fantasy sports bar. And look, like I said, all these ideas sound great, sound cool, sound innovative, and it sounds like it's needed. But the thing is, this man has ideas, but he does not have a plan. Every minute, first it was the school, then it was the non-alcoholic vegan sports bar. He's talking about, are there any vegan chefs that can cook? Are there any, he's naming off all these, menu items that would be supposedly on this menu. And, he's naming them after, these prominent Black figures in history. And all of that sounds good, but the key words are sounds good. And that's all he is. Again, this man is all talk and no action. Another thing too, this man also says, there's going to be a Black couples retreat. A Black marriage couples retreat. And this is how I really can't take him seriously. I mean, he's always popping off at the mouth, always erratic, always pushing out some idea that I don't ever believe will come into fruition. And, it never gets done. That's the thing. This man has ideas. He doesn't have a solid plan, and nor does he have a team to work with. And this is one of the reasons people believe he's a fraud, because it's like he refuses to work with a team. And I think he refuses to work with a team because, he doesn't want, background checks or anything checked on him. And someone mentioned that in a comment. He refuses to work with a team because he knows that there may be paper trail. People may, look back into it. all he's relying on is donations. And the fact that people are still donating to this man baffles me. It really is beyond me. But like, Lennon Honor said, and like, I've noticed, there are going to be new people that come in. And it's the case of a sucker is born every minute. And the funny thing is, some of the people who are falling back on him, like myself, are people who were former supporters, like myself. Because, we believe in the school. Some people even have, I think the guy's name is Stop Smoking, Stop Drinking. And I think he was a former supporter. So all this talk about is just haters, people who don't get the movement. These are agents. At this point, it's no longer just agents or haters or, the anti-fraud warriors. Some of the anti-fraud warriors are people who peeped through the BS in the beginning. But then you have some other anti-fraud warriors that are former supporters. They believed in this project, and then they realized it was BS the more and more the moving of the goalposts was. And what I find funny, this man who Stop Smoking, Stop Drinking put out the live video, and he said, and of course Lennon Honor did too, and he said that in that live video, Umar Johnson is talking about, a black couples retreat. Oh, remember, heterosexual couples only, right? A black couples retreat, but it's a requirement for everybody else to bring their partner, but, he may or may not show up with a partner. And of course, even if it were to happen, he wouldn't be showing up with a partner because this man is not married, has never been married, and he's admitted that. He's not married, he's never been married, but he wants to dictate and he wants to, tell you how you should act in your relationship, how you should raise your children, okay? He wants to facilitate. Remember, he's exempt from following the rules that you have to follow because he's going to facilitate, remember? And this is what makes him give off very Jim Jones vibes to me, because if you actually watch the documentary, it's on YouTube. It's called Jonestown, The Life and Death of People's Temple. It's on YouTube. And there are a few other documentaries and, memoirs and stuff like that. Even some interviews from the survivors or the people who escaped or the people who were attending the church before the Jonestown thing. But still, if you look at that documentary, in there, Jim Jones basically had his set of rules that everybody else needed to follow except him. Okay, he was exempt from following his own rules, but everybody else had to follow their rules. Everybody else had to follow his rules, I mean. I'm going to go in with my LA Girl gel eyeliner in black. So I'm going to go in with my mascara, and this is the Pumped Up Colossal Volume Express Mascara from Maybelline. So yes, Umar Johnson expects everyone to follow these certain type of rules, but you know what? I feel like nowadays, at one point people would be afraid. Same thing with, the Jim Jones thing. At one point people would be afraid, but since this is an online thing with Umar Johnson, you could just simply not follow. And I think the worst that could happen is you get called, a non-believer, a coon, an agent, you're tearing down a brother and a black man. And like I said, I think these are people who are new to him, but they're so into this, woke, pro-black movement. And I'm not going to lie, it's great to be for this cause, no doubt. Even though I've claimed to back out, I have not really withdrawn my support completely, but I've seen so much BS, it has turned me off. And it's because of people like Umar. But what I find funny is this man says he's going to facilitate. He's going to tell you how to make your marriage stronger. He's going to tell you, he's going to give you marriage and relationship advice. But yet and still, this man is not married, has never been married. This man thinks he knows how to take care of your children. Because remember, before, a few years ago, he said he doesn't want the kids coming back home to you because the black parents are the problem. But this man has 2 to 3 children out of wedlock by 2 to 3 different women, and he is not taking care of either of them. He's not paying child support for either of them. And I think that's the main reason he's, begging for donations, so-called donations, because he probably needs that money to, pay his child support. He probably needs that money to live in his car, because eventually they may kick him out of his car. Because when you can't pay that car note or that insurance, and I don't think he's not working. I don't think he's really working on he has an actual job or actual income. And you know what it is? I think he chooses not to, because remember, he's so against the white man and racism, white supremacy, that he wants to that he just does not want to work for anybody. You know what I'm saying? And unfortunately, I understand the need for integrity to say, you know what, I don't want to work for anyone else. But the thing is, like I said, with these hoteps, like the Nature Boys of the world, they won't even start their own business, or they will start so big and they'll bite off more than they can chew. And I do think in the beginning, it was a case of you bit off more than you can chew. But now I just think that you were just intended to scam. Because at this point, you're not bringing in anything to the table. Look, I have a whole business. You can actually shop from my business. I'll leave the links down below. You can actually shop from my business and you will get a physical product in return. I hand make things by hand. Let me show you. This is one of the things I am making. It's going to be a full product later, but it's one of the things I'm making. I make things with my own hands. I make candles, I crochet. I put all that, I make that all with my 2 hands. And when you purchase from me, you will actually get a physical product in return. So one thing I don't like about Umar also, he will guilt trip you. He said, oh, how many of you guys are going to the Korean nail salon to get your nails done? How many of you guys are, going to the Nike store to get yourself a pair of Jordans? And yes, that is something to be criticized, because yes, we do spend money on all these businesses and brands who, don't respect us or anything like that. There is an epidemic of people actually being killed over a pair of Jordans. So I also do agree that we definitely spend our money, time, and energy off stuff that really don't bring us any value. But you're talking about a school for all black boys, and you haven't even built that yet. To be honest, by the time I think that school is built, even though I don't think that school will be built, if that school were to ever get built, your children, my children will be grown and graduating from high school and college, okay? I don't think that school will be coming into fruition, and I also do think this man has too much pride and he will not take a bite of humble pie. I'm gonna go in with my LA Girl Pro Prep. This is a new primer I've been using. This is different than the Maybelline that I've been using, and it's like, I don't know, the consistency, the texture of it. I wouldn't say it's rough, but it definitely is not creamy like the Maybelline one I've been using. So this is a different one. It's gonna give me a smooth but matte finish. I'm gonna go in with my Black Opal foundation stick in the color Carob. I'm gonna go into my next topic, which is Nicki Minaj. And honestly, it's not looking good out here for Nicki Minaj. I heard one piece of information from someone on YouTube, and they said that Nicki Minaj apparently is being blackballed by the industry because she refuses to apologize to Miley Cyrus. Part of me really questions whether that's true or not, but I also wouldn't put it past any powers that be. Because remember, when it happened to Janet Jackson, she almost got erased. Her legacy almost got erased. And because after that wardrobe malfunction stunt, she was heavily pressured to apologize, but not Justin Timberlake. And now I can't look at Justin Timberlake the same way again. And I think black people and black women should really, be careful with supporting Justin Timberlake. So after that Jesse Williams speech at the BET Awards, where Justin Timberlake praised Jesse Williams, which again, that speech was powerful and it could have touched anyone. But I'm saying half of that speech was about you, Justin. So half of that speech was about you. Anyway, but still, I wouldn't be surprised, because remember when Nicki Minaj practically, came after Miley Cyrus and said, Miley, what's good? You had a lot to say about me in the press. And you know what I'm saying? They're saying that, the reason she's being blackballed because she wouldn't apologize to Miley Cyrus. I mean, she did have her spat with Taylor Swift and apologize, but she didn't apologize to Miley Cyrus. So something tells me it's not because of that. They said Choke No Joke said that's the reason, but I'm not saying that could completely not be the reason, because again, I wouldn't put it past any powers that be. We see that happen a lot. Every time the quote unquote white girl is being attacked, by somebody, especially if they're black or a black woman, it's the black woman that has to apologize. But why? And of course, Nicki Minaj did not handle that situation well, but I also do agree that, you know what? I don't think it was that serious. Now, I do think another thing with Nicki Minaj is maybe she's being blackballed because you're associated with child molesters and rapists and criminals. Like, come on. Your whole brother is a child molester who raped his and molested his stepdaughter. And you came out with that stunt of trying to pay people's college tuitions, and when the time came for you to pay their tuitions, you did not pay their tuitions. At least Jay-Z and Beyonce paid some kids' tuitions like they promised they would, but even Lovely T came out and said, you know what? Even Lovely T came out and said, maybe this is just a deflection from the whole Jelani situation, and looking back, hindsight is 2020, it probably was a deflection from that. Now, your husband is out here making everything worse for you because he gets arrested again. He has to now register as a sex offender. This is not looking good for your brand. And I honestly think, Nicki, you definitely married and dated down. And the problem was you were trying to defend the hell out of this man, and you were trying to defend the indefensible. And this is one thing I noticed. It's the case of, now I'm not going to say Nicki Minaj is, from the hood, but it's a case of you can take the girl out of the hood, but you can't take the hood out of the girl. I mean, Nicki, you had so much access to all these upper echelons of men in the industry, or just upper echelons of men, and you chose to settle down. And here's what I thought in the beginning of their relationship. When I heard that this guy was, allegedly dating Nicki, I originally thought that this was a rumor. And you know how the blogs and the tabloids and, magazines are. They'll see you out with a guy or a girl and just assume you're dating, or assume you're smashing. And I just thought, okay, this is just some guy she knows who she's hanging out with. They're not dating. This is just a rumor created. And then it turns out that they were dating, or at least, she never denied that they were. And I'm just assuming, okay, see what this really is. What this really is that this could be like some gigolo that she's paying to spend time with her. Because believe it or not, you do have rich men and women who will pay people, whether it be to sleep with them or whether it be to go on dates with them, to be, to accompany them and to escort them and, just to spend some time with them. You literally have guys with money who will pay women or whoever to spend some time with them. So I'm thinking this guy is just a gigolo she's paying, and this is casual, and she's not going to really, be with that man, because I'm saying, especially with his past, why would you be with that guy? Gonna go in with my LA Girl concealer in mahogany for contour. I really like this contour, actually. I mean, I preferred the Makeup Revolution concealer in, what was it, C17? But, this is kind of sleek. So I'm saying if you want to go the more inexpensive route for concealers, I would definitely do drugstore concealers like Maybelline. But the most inexpensive one that I know of is between Makeup Revolution and LA Girl. And LA Girl has really been a staple since, for a long time. But Nicki, you definitely dated down. And I noticed when she posts recent pictures on her Instagram where she's posted of her and her husband, she turns off the commenting, and as she should, because I honestly think that, she's getting roasted out here. And I also do believe that's another part of the Nicki hate train. People said it just started with Cardi. I think that's part of it, but I think also the main reason is because she is destroying her brand with, dating this man. You're dating a felon. You're dating a person with a history. And, it's one thing to have a history where you redeem yourself, because, if he's trying to redeem himself, that's one thing. But at the same time, I think Nicki could have done better. Nicki could have done better. This is not about, and look, I'm not Barty Gang. I'm not a Nicki hater. I'm not. But I just also think she could have done better. I said the same thing with Cardi too in the past. You know what I'm saying? Because I also have criticized her a little bit on her choices in marriage and dating, but that's beside the point. I'm just saying, it's not like Nicki could have found it hard. I think she was looking for swag in this relationship. She claimed, oh, this man knew me before I was even Nicki Minaj. We were cool, but people did the math and said, well, he was in prison by the time, at the time that you claimed you knew him or you were hanging out or you were dating. I mean, he raped a 16-year-old girl and you're out here making excuses for him. And I think it's a case of Nicki desperately wants a family. She's in her 30s, but she doesn't look it. That's great. I am so, you know, focused on the accomplishments Nicki has made. I didn't even know that she was 30. I'm not even counting her age at the time. But I think she's desperate. She wants to settle down. She wants to have a family. And maybe it's a case of, you know, envy for what Cardi and Remy Ma have. I mean, look, maybe Remy Ma may not be blowing up the charts like Nicki, but maybe Cardi may not be as lyrical as Nicki, but at the same time, they have marriage and they have kids. And I think Nicki wants that. And I think Nicki got so desperate, she settled. Hopefully she made him sign a prenup or something like that. Oh my gosh. So I'm going in with my blush from Maybelline in the color Berry. This blush, I like this blush so much because it's like, you can control it. Like, this blush is not too, like my Juvia's Place blush, you have to be very careful because it's super pigmented, but this one is like very, I would say sheer-ish, because you can build it up. Look, you can even see the pink, but just not too much. And I actually like this color. I think this color works for me. I'm trying to go more rosier, warm colors when it comes to like my blushes and my lipsticks, because I'm a warm tone, so I think the warm tones work better. For anyone who wants some makeup advice out there, when it comes to like lipsticks, especially foundations and face products, when it comes to lipsticks and blushes, go with what kind of fits your undertone. Okay, so I'm gonna go in with my Juvia's Loose Royalty 1 highlighter, but this is a mineral highlighter, so it's going to be kind of loose. So I have to be very, very careful with that. Look at that. Look at that. Damn. So I'm going to go in with my Nicki K lip pencil, and I think this is in the color Plum, and my Mented Cosmetics lipstick, semi-matte lipstick in Nude Lala. Okay, so in the case of Megan Thee Stallion, I know I might be a little late on talking about this, but I have to. So in the case of Megan Thee Stallion, a lot of people are talking about her whole record label situation with 1501. And they're basically saying that, oh my God, her record label screwed her over. Her hotties are saying, you know, they screwed her over. Shady record deals. This is why you need to read your contract. Turns out, for those of you who don't know, Megan Thee Stallion was 23 when she signed those 2 contracts, and she signed to 2 independent record labels, which I did not know you could be signed to 2 labels at a time. But that's, you know, that was weird to find out. Anyway, she was signed to these 2 labels, but the only label she's really calling out is 1501. Now, she's claiming that, okay, the minute she said she wanted to renegotiate her contract, they prevented her from releasing new music. But what really went down is that she didn't even put out an album yet. This whole Sugar album, it's not even an album, it's an EP, because there are not too many songs, and apparently I guess she was scared that the numbers wouldn't add up if it was a full-blown album. And notice how she rushed this project after this whole controversy came out. When this whole thing came out, she rushed this project, and I think that's why she had to, you know, put it to an EP instead of an album, because it was so rushed. Now, granted, she's claiming that 1501 wouldn't let her release any music, but the thing is, she signed a 4-album deal, and she hasn't even put out 1 album yet. So this Sugar thing that she's putting out, it's an EP. It's not an album. If it was over 30 minutes or 30 minutes or more, it would probably be considered an album, but still. I'm going to set my look using the Mario Badescu skincare facial spray. And again, you can use this for either a toner or a setting spray of makeup. You can use it before makeup and after makeup. You can even use it for a toner for your skincare routine, and I love it. So in the case of Megan Thee Stallion, it's really surprising because when I first heard this on her live video saying, "Oh my God, 1501 does not want to make me release any music," and I'm like, "Wow, you're just a new artist. You're so new, or you're just blowing up. You're just really getting started, and already you're dealing with label drama. That's crazy." But then more information comes out. Turns out this woman, for a new artist and a first artist, especially a first woman artist, for really just coming up, she actually owns part of her masters. You never hear that. From what's being reported is that Roc Nation got in her ear. So she signed to 2 independent labels, 300 and 1501, and she has a management deal with Roc Nation. But it seems that Roc Nation got in her ear and wants to get her out of her contract with 1501 and maybe even the other label. But they want to get her out of her contract with that because they want to do a production deal with her. And I'm starting to hear some things about Roc Nation that, you know, it's very shady. Well, first of all, a lot of industries are very shady, especially in the entertainment, Hollywood. They can be very shady. But at the same time, what they're saying is that Roc Nation is trying to pull them out of the air, because you hear that, you know, it's Jay-Z and this person and these people can, you know, boost your career and get it to the top. So she's thinking, oh my gosh, I can rise up if I just get into this deal or production deal with Roc Nation. But I think, you know what, it's better that she stays with her original labels, especially 1501, because from what we're hearing, I think from Carl Crawford or Jay Prince, is that she actually owns part of her masters. It's a 40-60 thing. So they get 60, she gets 40. And you may not think that's a lot because she gets paid $100,000 a show. At the same time, she actually owns her masters, part of it at least. She owns some of her masters. You don't really hear that with new artists. So she got a really good deal for being a new artist, and I think the first artist, the 1501. So she is really getting a good deal out of this. So it's not as bad as you think it is with the more information. But she just came out, and I don't necessarily blame her 100% because she actually is still new to this business, okay? And, you know, you could say, oh, she was old enough then, she should have read her contract, she should have lawyered up, which is true, because my thing is this. You claim that you were so young. She claims she was 20, but no, she was really 23. But she claims, oh my gosh, I know I'm college educated, and, you know, but I still don't know contracts, and I get it, but she kind of made a little bit of a brag by saying, oh, I'm intelligent, nothing's gonna happen. And, you know, she's not the only artist to do that. But at the same time, I'm just saying, in this world, in this day and age, especially with the internet and all that's coming out about artists being, you know, shaded, and artists being taken for a ride, and artists, you know, being scammed and stuff from labels, artists, you know, dealing with a lot of stuff. Like I heard Death Row Records, only Suge Knight walked out of there with money and everybody else walked out broke. So with all these shady deals, especially in the hip hop industry, with all these shady deals with record labels, I'm saying, how do you still get caught up in that? Especially in this day of the internet, to not be, you know, worried by labels, which is why a lot of people are kind of saying just stay independent. And there are pros and cons to being an independent artist, because you could because one thing labels can provide you with is some resources. They'll provide you with the marketing, they'll provide you with a team, they may provide you with lawyers, but I wouldn't, you know, necessarily just stick with those lawyers. I would get your own really, really, really good entertainment lawyer, but that's beside the point. But I'm just saying, in this new day and age where people are not too, you know, in the dark about the shadiness of record labels, you still get caught up in this situation. So it's really kind of funny. So there are certain things she kept out. There are also certain things Carl Crawford kept out, because I think it was Jay Prince who was like homeless or living on his couch. But, you know, it was Carl Crawford allowing Jay Prince, or I think Jay Prince allowing Carl Crawford to handle the money. And these people actually did not know anything about the industry. So there's a lot of disorganization. Some people have criticized Megan Thee Stallion's team for being unorganized and for not being, you know, knowledgeable about how to do things. But I mean, it's kind of working for Megan Thee Stallion just a little bit, or more so than you would think, because her streams for that Sugar album went up 18 million. So, and I think she's putting that out there like, oh my God, my streams blew up. Already 1 million, already 18 million streams in the short amount of time I dropped this mixtape, I dropped this EP. And I think it's because what she did over social media. I think that's because of what she did. Because, you know, that kind of goes to show she really has a strong fan base. But at the same time, I heard the numbers, her mixtape or her EP versus Lil Uzi Vert's album, she only has a fraction of what they have. She only has a fraction because Lil Uzi Vert actually put out his album, and that's blowing up. And I personally think because, one, he has a very strong fan base, and two, I heard it's been 3 years since he dropped another album. So I even heard at one point that he wanted to quit music and just get into fashion. I heard that like before they were famous or something. Another thing too, the coronavirus. So that's delaying a lot of things. I actually was supposed to do a craft show today, but I got the news yesterday that the craft show has been postponed until April. And part of me is thinking that it has to do with the coronavirus, because every single thing is getting postponed here in New York City. Things are being out of stock. So a lot of stores have run out of toilet paper, water, hand sanitizer, Lysol. My dad bought a small travel size hand sanitizer, and that thing cost $5. And I don't believe that they were really $5 because they're running low. It's because they're trying to hike up their prices. Highway robbery, but that's just my conspiracy theory. Anyway, but yes, a lot of things are being postponed or shut down or, canceled. Music festivals has been canceled because Coachella is actually being postponed till October. I don't know how many people want to go to Coachella in October, but that goes to show you may have a dedicated fan base. Anyway, so that's being postponed. Music festivals are being postponed. Concerts are being postponed, and that could affect a lot of artists, but at the same time, what they can't make up for in tours, they can make up for in streaming services. So speaking of which, go stream my original song. I have it here on YouTube. It's called Good Loving, and I want you to tell me what you think about it. You can actually listen to it on my page. It's the first song I wrote, produced, and everything like that. So just check that out. And you can actually stream it on multiple streaming services. It's on Spotify, it's on Deezer, iTunes, Apple Music, Google Play. You can stream it on multiple streaming services, and there will be more streaming services that it will be put out to. Speaking of which, I actually saw a post, which was a screenshot of a tweet sent by a fan saying, Cardi B, when is that new single? And she said it's been delayed due to the coronavirus. Now, I understand that things are getting postponed and delayed, but part of me is, and mind you, this is not even an album, this is a single. So something is telling me with this age of streaming services, why is your song being delayed due to the coronavirus? Now, I have to say either you're being delayed because of the coronavirus means that your producer or your ghostwriter or, you yourself can't make it to the studio because it's so bad unless you have a home studio in your house. Because I know there's some, rappers and people who have their own home studios. I heard Wiz Khalifa has that. But unless you have a home studio in your house, I don't see the need to delay a single because of the coronavirus. Because if you can just put it out on a streaming service, you should be fine because people can listen to that in the comfort of their own home. Now, I saw the comments on that post, under that post on Instagram, and a lot of people are not here for the single. They're saying, good, that's the only good thing that came out of the coronavirus. Good, keep it. Good, delay it forever. We don't want to hear it. We're not checking for her anyway. And I'm like, damn, they really just don't like Cardi. And look, she may have a fan base that likes her, that will go stream her music, but there are true, genuine rap fans who don't really see this. And I want to talk about that, but that's another video for another day. So if you want to see that, you just have to wait and see until I make that. Okay. So anyway, thank you guys for tuning in today. Thank you guys for getting ready with me. Thank you guys for watching this video. Tell me your thoughts about each topic that I talked about. Is there more information you have on each topic, just let me know down in the comment section. Please, please, please do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe and share if you care. Also, remember, don't forget to check out the links down below. Don't forget to stream Good Loving on all streaming platforms, and I will hope to see you in the next video. Bye.